Slasher. What is up, everybody? Here we are on Monday night. So you know what time that is. It means it's time for Slasher Movie Club. And we've got our good friend, our brother Michael from the Carbonite Jedi here with us. Thank you so much for being here, man, through thick and thin, through illness or not, through holidays or not. You made it, and we really appreciate it, bro.
May the force be with you always.
Exactly. We definitely need the force now more than ever. And by the way, man, like I was saying, you really touched a nerve talking about, modern Star Wars and kind of what's been missing, that little something that isn't there as much. And like I've always said, I'm such a huge fan, of the older movies growing up on those things. Those were the most influential things in my life for years growing up. So great work. And if you guys in the chat have not subscribed to Michael, please make sure you guys do that. We'll have the link in the chat, the links in the description, and do yourself a favor. All right, cool. Well, in the chat, just to say hello to everyone, my man Ben, he came in way before the stream even started. $20 super chat. Absolutely banana pancakes. This is crazy. Thank you so much, man. Much love to you. Saying night, I'm so excited. Black Christmas is one of the most essential horror flicks ever made. Yes. Without the inspiration from Bob Clark, I'm absolutely convinced that John Carpenter's Halloween never would have happened. And we're going to get into that for sure tonight, but we were talking a little bit about that when we did the watch party for Black Christmas. And just all of the parallels, and Carpenter himself talked about how he drew inspiration. So Ben, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. Much love to you. Happy holidays, as well as everyone else here. It's absolutely crazy. Thank you, brother. He says, rumor has it Eli Roth was once attached to direct the remake of Death Dream, my favorite horror flick. Dude, well, that would be cool. Eli Roth, and I could go on a rant on that, but I won't tonight. But Eli Roth, student of horror, a student of the game, just so talented. He could make anything good, in my opinion. He has that ability. So who knows, man? If that ever happens, I'm sure it would kick butt. All right. Paul is in the house. RJ, happy late Christmas night. Well, happy late Christmas to you as well. Thank you. Julie is in the house, the resident wig master herself, who's been going absolutely bonkers talking about Stranger Things with us on Instagram. But it is so much fun to listen to and to talk to as well. Thank you for being here, Julie. Kelly's in the house. What is up, Kelly? Good to see you. All right. And hey, we got Jack in the house. What's up, man? Coming in with Soup Chat as well. Thank you so much, bro. Tomorrow night, end of the year stream. I don't know, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know because of work, but we'll see. We will see. Because I've got a lot of things that are happening with work because last week I took some time off, obviously for the holidays. And so now it's all about catch up. It always gets you one way or the other, Michael. You know what I'm saying?
It does. Very much so.
Yeah, it really, really does. There's Michael's link. All
Thank
right.
Can I say something real quick about Stranger Things that I thought was pretty funny?
Sure.
So it's been out for 5 seasons. I have twins that are 9 years old. The older twin is 9, and she wants to see Stranger Things. And for us, it's like we don't want them to like spend the next couple of months in our bed because they got freaked out. But my 9-year-old took my wife's laptop and she wrote out a PowerPoint on the 6 reasons she should be able to watch Stranger Things
Get out of here.
Nuh-uh. And she presented it to us. We're still not going to watch it, but I thought it was pretty
Wow.
funny. Yeah, she's like, she went to Target with her Christmas money and bought, uh, I don't know which of the kids has like the blue jacket with the like the eagle or something on it. You know, like
Hmm.
the old '80s jackets, you know, they used to wear.
Yeah. Who the heck is
It's
that? I can't even think who
from
it
the
is.
show, and
Hmm.
she went to Target and she bought that same jacket and she wears it around the house all the time now.
Oh my gosh. Wow,
I think
that's dedication.
I think she's going to be the horror child. She wants to see Chucky and all these other horror movies.
Uh-oh. So what are we gonna do, Dad?
Wait till they get a little bit older.
Hey, look, if you get a chance to hang around here enough, you'll be all primed and ready. You
Yeah.
know, you'll have all the knowledge you need. That's awesome, man. That is so cute. Oh my God. Well, look, and we're going to catch up to the chat in a little bit, but we're also going to start this thing off. Black Christmas, I was so happy Michael could join us to watch this movie. In my opinion, one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Super underrated and actually unappreciated. 1974, directed by Bob Clark, starring the late, great Olivia Hussey, the late, great Margot Kidder, the late, great John Saxon, the Sax himself. This is a great movie, and what I liked about it, Michael, we'll just kind of, kind of glide over this. It starts off, and already, and I know we watched it 2 weeks ago, but if you do remember, I just felt this like, I don't know, classic, like old school, almost surreal vibe, even just with the font and how it came on. And you see this house, it was just really just a cool presentation right from the beginning. And it carries throughout the whole film, in my opinion. It really,
Hmm.
really does. Now, let me ask you this. Did you know anything about Black Christmas before we watched it?
No, I just thought it was, you know, just a. No, I didn't know anything about it. I just thought, you know, we're gonna watch a horror movie that was maybe a B-rated horror movie or something like this, but
Okay,
it ended up
cool.
being something totally different.
All right, cool. Well, it opens up and we're seeing the outside of this house and we're seeing someone moving around from the POV. And gosh darn it, that reminds me of a movie from 1978 called Halloween because Halloween opens that way. We have the imagery of what will eventually find out is Michael walking towards the house to attack and kill his older sister Judith. This movie does some of those same type of things. Obviously, first we get introduced to Margot Kidder and the rest of the ladies in the sorority house. They're friends. They're having basically a holiday party. They're hanging out. And to me, I think what was cool is they really seem to be just regular folks, and you get to learn a little bit about them and kind of get comfortable with them. Michael, at this point in the film, like what are your initial thoughts as far as how it's presented and kind of getting to meet these characters?
I thought it was pretty well done. I mean, you know, I'd never seen it before, so
Mhm.
usually in those situations, I'm like, okay, what happened to this guy? This guy, like the guy you have in the picture, who looked like kind of like Mr. Cotter from Welcome Back, Cotter. I'm like, what happened to him? And I guess they already left, you know. So it had
Yeah.
like the main people that stayed around, and everybody else, I guess, went home for the holidays.
Yes. Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think they did a good job. And
Yeah.
one thing that I have to say about this movie is that it felt really raw, you know,
Mm.
like realistically raw to the
Hmm.
point where today they don't seem to do that in the movies, you know. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Margot's walking around with a cigarette, and you know, and they're saying like really extreme stuff on the phone, or you
Hmm.
know, it just seemed really raw and realistic to me, and
Yeah.
I kind of dig that of the show.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, and I can agree with that. It definitely seemed raw and gritty. It definitely, it seemed like it was a product of of its time, but also it works beyond that as well. And I think all great movies do that. they stand the test of time and extend past their own um, time, so to speak. But as we get to meet these folks having just an innocent enough party, we also see this figure that has climbed into a window, crawled up the side of the damn house, goes inside of the attic space, and you just have no idea who this is, what they're about. You get the sense that they're a little unhinged though, because there's some mumbling and some this and that. They're looking down below the attic to the next level of the house and so forth. So it's just really sinister stuff, in my opinion. You have one of the folks that are partying, we come to know is one of the important characters, maybe not for the right reason though. Claire, who's with her boyfriend Chris, and they're just, again, it seems very simple, but then they get a phone call, and this was a huge part of the film. Back in the 70s, obviously there were landline phones, and one thing you talked about, Michael, is that back then there were so many ways that we could be victimized by a landline phone,
Mhm.
and not having caller ID and all the technology and all the stuff we have today. This call sets up everything because it's this unhinged, crazy sounding person, this guy who's speaking in different voices. This is such a big scene. When you first saw it, I mean, what was going through your mind?
Uh, I the whole time I'm like, I like the red herring. I bit it hook, line, and sinker, man.
Mm,
I
mm-hmm,
bought the red herring, and I knew it was him. I just knew it.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
and this guy's coming through as multiple personalities, coming,
Yeah.
talking like a child, talking like a woman, and this very psychotic guy, you know, to these girls. And
Mhm.
it's just, if I was in that position as a girl, I would have had called the police a long time ago. Well, I guess they had
Yeah.
called the police, right?
Right, right, right.
Okay. So I would have like try to take it to the next step as this has gotten more and more serious.
Mhm, mhm. Yep. No, I agree. I agree. It was very serious. He was very aggressive in this call, which was like, wow. It was something. It really, really was. Um, Real quick to the chat, let me just jump back there too. We got Jack came in again with another super chat. Thank you so much, man. Seriously. Uh, Say I got the flu. My kids got it. Now I get the leftover sickness. Ooh, geez, man. Uh, been up since 1 a.m. Well, man, I hope you feel better as well. It seems like we got a lot of folks that are catching illnesses. It is that time of the year though, but we hope you feel better, Jack, man. Seriously, get some rest, man. And Jotto's in the house just watched the Black Christmas 74 and the '06 back to back. Well, there you go. That's a good double feature. All right. Let's see. Who else? We got Jerry's in the house. What is up, Jerry? Good to see you. We got Jeans in the house. And we have Stormy in the house. Good to have you here. Hope that you guys are doing well. So and Stormy saying I recently bought the new Black Christmas 4K Steelbook. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it does look really cool. It does. Yep. Um, so let's continue here. We get to another very important scene with good old Claire, who unfortunately gets way too close to the closet. Once again, Michael, you never investigate ever.
Uh-uh.
Never, never, never. But unfortunately, especially in these older slasher films, that's what they do. And this is what happens to you, Michael. You get suffocated. And poor Claire, poor Claire. But this is a big part of the whole film. The girls down below, they have no clue of
Hmm.
what's going on. They have no clue that Claire just got attacked and obviously killed. But we're introduced to Mrs. Mack, who is basically, the mother hen of the sorority house. Absolutely hilarious character. Loved her in this. Um, I mean, look. when you are able to find your extra stash of a bottle inside of a book, you know you have achieved goat status. And
Yep.
she was pulling bottles out of everywhere, behind doors, inside of books. It was out of a toilet. It was
That's so
great.
funny.
Oh my god.
That
But
nasty toilet.
then yes. But I think what was cool, and again, this is still the first 20 minutes of the film. um I think it was showing that this film was going to have a lot of balance between some really dark and intense moments and some very light comical moments like this, and I think it was really balanced. I really do. And it worked. It really worked. She's just taking a sip every time she look at this from the toilet. In the back of the toilet. This is
Let's use it to swish out her toothpaste.
Oh my god. And then you have imagery like this with Claire. I mean, it's just that is still just again very creepy to see to this day. I mean, we're talking about a film that is 55 years old. Um, it's crazy,
Mm.
is absolutely crazy. But let's see what else we got going on here. Actually, 52. I'm sorry. Uh, we have this was a funny scene too, where your buddy, Mr. Carter himself, he's playing as Santa Claus and he's like, ho, 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 holy shit, and he's just funny stuff, but showing all of these people just as regular everyday folks. And then we get to me where it gets a little sad in a way because Claire's father was waiting for Claire to come home, just like you
Hmm.
had talked about. After the party, people kind of went to their homes, off campus, and her father is looking for her. Unbeknownst to him, she's been killed and is in the attic of the sorority house. So, you have that sadness because we as the viewers know that, but he doesn't. But Bob Clark, the director, was able to kind of weave in some funny moments, like his interactions with Mrs. Mack. I thought that these were so funny. Just his reactions, the look on his face, and stuff like that. Did you find these interactions funny yourself, or do you think they didn't hit?
No, I found him extremely funny. He's the stiff, upright dad, and this was probably
Yes,
stuff that his daughter never wanted him to see. You know,
yes,
and Miss
yes,
Max just takes him right into her room and shows her all the glory of all the pictures.
yes, yes.
The peace
You're right.
symbol and the old lady flipping the bird and all that other stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was some great comic relief. It really, really was. Julie's also a fan of Mrs. Mack. I think everyone really is. I think everyone. I know Ben. He's like, Claude, look what you made me do. Yeah, the cat. I know. I know. And then, again, I've been talking about balance. So, we have those funny moments with Claire's dad and Mrs. Mack, and then we get to another heavy scene where we have Peter, Jess, who is basically the lead, and her boyfriend Peter. Um, Shout out to 2001: A Space Odyssey. If you know, you know. And they're just having this conversation that seems pretty tense. He's a pianist, and he's kind of a tense character, and it it turns into a lot of the big plot of the film. Obviously, it was interesting. It really, really was. Now, at this point as well, because Claire has been missing, because the father's like, well, she didn't come home, she didn't meet up with me like she was supposed to. So obviously, like you were saying earlier, Michael, they go to the cops and they're basically like, hey, our friend is missing. You got to help us. You got to love Sergeant Nash, who, we'll talk about some of the funny things that he deals with. But again, it's a lot of back and forth. You got dark, intense moments, and you also have some very funny moments, like this moment that Margot Kidder, who's Barb, has with Nash, as telling him, giving him the address, fellatio, and he's going along with it. It's just funny stuff, man. At this point in the film, were you surprised by what I would say is the high level of like filmmaking that this film has?
Yeah, I was pretty. I mean, I wasn't sitting back thinking, this is corny or this is stupid. I was sitting back and I was actually immersed into the movie, which
Mm,
I don't do unless it's quality.
yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm engrossed in what the actors and actresses are saying. Plus, I'm sitting there trying to figure out who the killer is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I've never seen this before, so I'm sure that they're going to reveal the killer at the end, and I'm trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah,
So
before. Yep. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we have this scene here where Peter, Jess's boyfriend, is doing a performance in front of some judges or whatever. A big important thing for him to do, and he's totally drenched in sweat. He's all like edged out, and like it's really just as the film goes on, this was a very smart scene to have because it's like building that suspicion that you
mhm.
have of Peter, just how he is. He's just very intense and so forth. But even Peter's not the only one. You also have Claire's boyfriend, who also is pretty intense and also knows how to wear a mink coat.
Yeah,
It's like he's the most pimped out person in this whole movie. You gotta love him, man. You gotta love him. Stormy. He's definitely a scene stealer. That fur coat was rocking.
just need a pimp hat.
That's all he needed. That's all he needed. He's got the hair. The hair is good too. Even look in this picture. Of course, it's just an image, but even in this picture, it looks like Jess is like, "Hey, I'm standing out of your way, buddy.
Yeah,
You're stealing the show." Um,
I
but
have a
yeah,
I have a quick
what was it?
question.
Sure.
So when Peter was doing his recital, do you
Hmm.
think this was what he had been working on for 4 or 5 days straight, or do you think he was messing up during his recital because he was upset about the baby situation?
I think it was because he was upset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was because he was upset because that conversation that they had, it was intense. It was
Hmm.
intense, and I think that really, again, to me, and we might as well just talk about it anyways. I mean, I think this was really setting him up to zero him in as, okay, this guy, he could be the one, because he's just the way that he was portrayed, you know what I mean? And I definitely think it was because of their conversation. And Jess was the type of person, shout out to Olivia Hussey as far as her performance, but also the character, the way the character was presented. Because again, this is 1974, and she wasn't taking nothing from nobody.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I just want to throw throw that out there. Some really good performances, and of course, these two were solid the whole time because they're just sitting there watching Barb, who's just drinking a lot and just, I mean, the stuff that she's saying, I mean, it was just crazy. And I think again, this is like giving so much balance to the dark stuff that's happening in this film, and maybe in a way kind of shielding us a little bit, just like the characters in this film, they have no clue how much danger they're in. They're truly
Hmm.
in so much danger. And I think moments like this also make us forget too. um, and there's our favorite musician, after his little performance or what have you, he destroys that piano. I mean, he just goes to town on it. And again, this is all setting up so much suspicion with him. Uh, but you have all these things happening, and then they have this big search because there's a missing person. Um, and they get everyone together, and we kind of get to see John Saxon's character a little bit more up front, Lieutenant Fuller, and he's leading the search, and you've got everyone out here near the park, which is literally by the house, by the sorority house. So a lot of cool stuff going on in this film. Real quick too, in the chat, we got Melissa in the chat. What is going on? Good to see you. Paula saying that the cast was fantastic. That's right. I agree. And Ben, you're right. He was great in Cronenberg's The Brood. I love that film. I really, really do. Hey Gina, good to have you here too. Hope you're doing well. Very cool to have you guys here. We appreciate it. Um, I wanted to show this shot here. We have someone in the shadow there, Michael, and it's not looking great. Um, that house looks fantastic. That's just a great shot of the house. There's
Mhm.
tons of these shots throughout the film, but and look, for all of the Halloween fans out there, trust me, I'm right in line with you. I'm probably at the front of the line as one of the biggest Halloween fans, but you can't deny these are shots and moments that Carpenter had as well. I mean, he pulled them off wonderfully, of course. Him and Dean Cundy, who was the director of photography, but these are shots and parallels that Halloween carried out 4 years later. So
Is there
the
a
ominous.
a radio tower next to it?
If only, right? I know. Oh man, if there was, that'd be hilarious. Oh my god. Uh, Mrs. Mack again, breaking rule number one: you never investigate. I don't care how curious you are. She hears a noise, and it's literally the killer who was making noises like squealing noises and so forth. So
Uh-huh.
she decides to go up there, and guess who she sees? Claire, doing her own version of rapping, and a hook. That's all we see. That's another thing about this killer. We only see like shadow and hands. We don't see anything else. And unfortunately for Mrs. Mack, this is the end of the line for her. Just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. This phone call was a really important one as well. This is a great shot of Jess as well to me. It just some great camera work on this film. But this is where it got weird because when she got on the phone, she's talking, you hear the voice and then it hangs up. And then all of a sudden, our buddy is right there. Peter is right there and scares her. And she's not on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So, in other words,
Mhm.
it's all adding up. Why is he upstairs? He says, I was upstairs taking a nap because you weren't here, because they went down to the police station. Why are you upstairs, bro? When you know what I mean? This is a sorority house.
Uh-huh.
As far as I know, you're a guy. What's going on? It's just so sus. It really is. And for you guys in the chat, and I know Julie's a big fan of this movie as well. How suspicious was Peter at this point in the film for you guys? Michael, how suspicious would you say he was to you? Like if you had a percentage that you'd give him.
Oh, 100%.
Mm,
I kept saying, you know, it's him, it's him, it's him.
yep. Yep.
I was
Yep.
hook, line, and sinker, man. They got me with the red herring thing.
Yep. I agree. Lindsay's in the house too. What's going on? Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well. And so, anyways, he's just looking so sus. Look at the look on his face. He's just got Billy vibes all over him. Who is we get to know that that's the name, or at least that's the name that the killer says. It's me, Billy.
Mhm.
And he's talking as if he's a mother talking to Billy. So yeah, I mean, like I said, Peter's looking like Billy hardcore. Julie's saying Peter was an 8 out of a 10 suspicious. Anger issues didn't do him any favors. Ain't that the truth? I totally agree. Chuck's in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. And happy holidays. Uh, you know, they're trying to figure all of this out as well. John Saxon is Captain Fuller. He's trying to figure out who's who. He's trying to figure out the relationship with Jess and Peter. He's trying to find out if there's another phone in the house. All these different types of things, and they're kind of hidden dead ends. There's a great picture of the house again. Two cops outside, as we all know from Scream 4. That means nothing. Nothing. You need an
No.
army. That's what you need. Two cops don't cut it. Uh, Ben saying Peter's intense, but he doesn't fit because his practicing is too much of a distraction to warrant a return to the sorority house from time to time. That is true. I mean, obviously, for me watching it as many times as I have since I was a kid, I agree with that. But I gotta admit, man, when you first watch it and you just kind of take it at face value, he's just so suspect. He's just, I mean,
He could have
crazy.
been lying about his practicing too, you know?
Maybe. Okay, I
Because I
could
mean,
see
you
that.
only see him like what once or twice practicing.
That's true. That's true. Yep. Um, now, back then with the landlines, I don't even know how they kept track of all this stuff. This was absolutely banana pancakes. Look at what this guy is dealing with. He's the guy that's going to try to tap the line. So when the killer calls, they can pinpoint and trace where the call is coming from. Dude, how? Look at that. I mean, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You
Hmm.
got Saxons waiting for the killer to call again. And and so is Jess. And eventually, it's just like, okay, he's not going to call. But upstairs, the killer comes down from the attic and he goes into Barb's room. Now, Barb wakes up, has an asthma attack, and is absolutely hysterical, having an asthma attack and saying, "Someone was in my room. Someone was in my room." So, of course, Jess is like, "No, no, no, you're okay. You just woke up. You're okay." And we're like, "No, no, someone's in her room." What did you think of this part up to this part right here? Because I don't know about you, but I'm a huge Margot Kidder fan as well. So when I first
Hmm.
saw this movie, I was like, "Oh my god, please save this lady." You know?
Well, I totally 100% thought that Margot Kidder was gonna be the final girl.
Okay, okay.
Yep, I was like, "There's no way they're gonna kill her off.
Yep,
No way."
that's right. That's right. I wish that was the case. And real quick too, in the chat, we got my man Jake's in the house. What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. Easily a top 10 slasher of all time. Right? It's so true. It's so true. Jake, I would say this is one of the most, I don't know, man, one of the most underappreciated great horror films of all time. Like there's other great horror movies, um, and there's a lot of underappreciated ones, but this is one of those ones that I think it's just so underrated, but yet it's so damn good. It really is, in my opinion. In my opinion. And we also have a channel member anniversary for Gina at 31 months. All right.
Wow.
Gina, wow, thank you so much. Seriously, we love you. And also Ziggy, give hugs to Ziggy as well. Saying don't forget to send the like button some love. People have a great new year. Well, we hope that you have a great new year as well. And if we do get a chance to celebrate beforehand, we definitely will be here. And Gina, you're always around, so I'm sure we'll see you as well. So, but thank you so much for all the support. One thing I also want to say about Gina's always in the comments as well. Amazing, absolutely amazing, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Seriously, thank you so much. Okay, and Julie's keeping track of everything. We only need one more like to hit 30. Let's do it, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support us, and we appreciate it. Gory Tiger's in the house. And Julie said, "We hit it. We hit it. There you go." And by the way, guys, I just want to say something real quick, and I don't do this enough, and I really should. If you have not gotten a chance to follow the Scream at Night podcast, please do. We have just some really cool stuff that we've been putting together. We've got some great stuff planned. I've got stuff already recorded, more guests and everything. I've got the QR code up in the corner here. If you haven't checked us out, please do go to Spotify, give us a follow. Give us a rating. That would be great to just help us as we start this new adventure. And it's so far so good. We've had so many folks that have just rallied. So if you haven't had a chance, please go and follow us over on Spotify. You can also follow us on Apple Podcast or Amazon or wherever you listen to podcasts, but we would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Shantae's in the house. What is up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And Melissa saying, I just wish it was a slasher more. Oh, you mean more gore? I think she means more gore. Um, I can understand that. But again, 1974, that's, to be quite honest, this was actually pretty violent for 1974. Hell, this might have been more violent than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that was like legendary for its quote unquote violence and gore, but yet there wasn't much blood in that film whatsoever. You know what I mean? So this is totally a slasher film. It's just got that slower pace, I think, because it is 1974, and plus being a Christmas slasher, I think that had a lot to do with it as well. But unfortunately, Margot Kidder will not be saved because while the kids are doing Christmas caroling outside, and Jess goes back downstairs to see them, there he is. You never see his face. You never
Mm,
see his face. That's totally Peter right there.
looks like it.
Right? And that's on purpose, of course, right? Because you're like, wait a minute, who is this? And he just totally he takes her to town, and unfortunately, Barb gets killed. I was so sad at that point because I'm such a big Margot Kidder fan. I really am. Um, but we get to the point where we've been waiting. The phone call finally comes in, and of course, Barb is already killed. Jess had come back into the house, and Jess and Phil, they're waiting for this phone call so it can be tapped. And this guy right here, he's got like 80 million lines that he has to work through to to catch the trace. It was crazy. It was
Yeah, it
absolutely
was.
crazy. But then we find out, and this is when Fuller is told the calls coming from in the house. And man, I think at this point in the film, I'm thinking, what is she going to do? What's going to
Mm,
happen? Because we're all waiting for that. But I think Fuller had a great plan because he called up Nash at the department and said for him to tell Jess to come out of the sorority house. Just hang up the phone and just come on out. Don't worry about anything. Come on out and don't tell her that the killer is in the house. It was a good plan, but unfortunately, Nash screwed it up.
oh my gosh.
He screwed it up. I think it was because he just got nervous. He didn't do it maliciously, but yeah, he
Yeah.
said, Jess, the call's coming from in the house. Ooh, just great tension, and I mean the look on her face right there kind of tells you everything. But as crazy, and I want to ask you about this, Michael. As crazy as this scene is, as far as what she chooses to do, it also shows a lot about her character and her dedication and caring of her friends. Because as far as she knows, Barb and Phil are upstairs. Phil went upstairs as well to go lay down. And so Jess is thinking, I can't just leave the house without my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Again, what did you think of this scene, man? It's frustrating, but I do understand it to a small degree.
I would have, I was hollering at her the whole time to
Yeah.
go outside, let the cops handle it. But
Yep.
she had to go up there by herself, you know.
She did have a weapon, though.
She did. But I
We'll give her
mean,
that.
a crazy man is going to probably overpower her 9 times out of 10,
Oh yeah. Yep.
So you got this crazy person calling you, and you know that there's
Yep.
somebody in the house with you.
Yep.
I mean, she's braver than I was.
You're braver than me too, man. She goes upstairs. She looks inside of the room, and you can tell by the look on Olivia Hussey's face. There it is. We got Barb and we got Phil, unfortunately. Two great characters. And then it was a great scene. I'm not doing it any justice, but you guys that have seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And by the way, if you haven't seen this movie, you got to check it out. But she was looking at the bed, with the bodies, and then she kind of turns to the side where the closet is. And that's what she sees, the eye. It's me, Billy. And man, whew, I will admit, she ran. She got out of there quick. She goes downstairs to the basement and locks the door. So that was smart. That was very smart. She's got her weapon there, the fire poker. At this point, it's like, okay, he's gonna break down the door. But then
Mhm.
it stops. Like he wasn't trying to get into the basement anymore. And it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. As she's looking out of the windows to the basement, she sees a figure moving around. This is perfect stuff. This is perfect setup stuff, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Look who it is, our favorite pianist. Look at this guy. Why would he think to go to the basement window?
That's my question the whole time. I was like, he is a killer. He knows she's in the
Yes.
basement. Nobody else saw her go there. Nobody knows
Yeah.
she was down there except for the
Right.
killer.
Yep. Yep. I mean, those windows are probably on the backside of the house. He
Mhm.
probably tracked around 3 minutes to get. I'm just saying, it's like no reason to go there. And she is like, don't come in. Cause he's like, Jess, why are you down there? And then he breaks the window. And I'm like, whoa, hey, buddy, what's
Yeah.
what's going on? And he's walking towards her, as scared as she is. Like, instead of saying, first of all, not even breaking the window, that's number one. But if you did, basically say, hey, honey, are you okay? I'm just here to check in on you or whatever. Make conversation. Use your words, buddy. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know. Everything he
And
did was wrong.
everything was wrong. The absolute opposite of what he should do. And sure as hell, this lady knows what's up. She's not taking any. Well, she did take a chance going upstairs where the killer was, but she's not taking any more chances, Michael.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, I'm only taking one chance in this film. And of course, when Fuller and the cops finally get there, they were racing across town, because they knew she didn't leave the house. This is what they find. And I'm like, oh my God, please do not tell me that she is dead.
I thought she was
It,
dead too.
dude, right? But she's not dead. But Peter is, and it's like, and I'm thinking, when I first saw this, and then I was a kid, I'm like, wow, she killed the killer. Wow, and the way that it happened was like just interesting to me, and as an adult now, it, anyways, it was just interesting as a child. But we're gonna get to it here. She's totally, hurt, exhausted, traumatized, and so forth. Fuller and the doctor are basically like, look, we gotta keep her resting. She's gonna be out of it for a little while. And you're just happy because she made it. Claire's father finally kind of collapses after all of this. He realizes that, you know, I still don't know where Claire is. Nobody
Mhm.
knows where Claire is. No one ever will, probably. And then they have to take Claire's father downstairs to, get him to the ambulance so he can go to the hospital. And so they leave Jess there. The camera pans to different areas in the house, the hallway, the stairwell, up where the attic leads. That's the ladder right there to up to the attic. And once again, for all my Halloween fans, this is exactly how 78 ended, showing all the places that Michael had been to during the film. Great stuff. Great stuff. We see an image that is still to me totally haunting. Mrs. Mack and of course Claire still in the attic, bro.
Dude, when they had the part where the girl was downstairs suffering from shock and they
Yep.
put her to sleep, and
Hmm.
I saw them taking the bodies out, I thought they took the ones out of the attic too. And when I saw that in the attic, when I saw them in the attic, my brain kind of like stuttered for a minute. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on, they didn't get them?
Yeah. I think the way that it was shot, and I know it had to be on purpose by Bob Clark, the director. You really did think, oh well, they got they got Claire's body and Mrs. Mack, and I'm sure they want you to think that because then when they showed them, it's such a shock. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
No blood, no guts, no gore, but in my opinion, as scary as anything.
Well, I
And
mean, when you were talking about the girl was saying earlier how she wished there would have been more gore,
mhm.
sometimes I was about to say sometimes less is more. I mean,
Oh yeah,
your mind, your mind can totally mess with you so bad,
yep,
in those situations. And if you're a great director like this was, and you see the guy with the hook, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you see the woman hanging by the hook. I mean,
yeah,
your mind goes into all different overdrives thinking about the situations and stuff, and it just like creeps well, for me, it creeps me out.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. Different, obviously, different things will scare people differently. We all have
Hmm.
our limits and so forth. But in my opinion, I think that when you have an unsettling scene that plays out, you know what I'm saying, and it feels real, seeing these bodies up here. And for me, I didn't just see them. It was almost like I could feel the cold in the attic. I could feel how
Hmm.
nobody goes up there and how, these bodies will never be found and how creepy it is because also, and we see it in the next image, Claire is right at the window.
Oh my gosh.
If I look out of my window right now, I could see Claire. That's how that's how visible this lady is, and no one saw her. No
Hmm.
one. You know why? Because they don't look up. It just shows. I think what Bob Clark was also doing is just showing that in our regular everyday world, especially urban areas where you have all these houses together and sorority houses and people and it's holidays, just shows how um, evil and harm can be literally right beside you and you don't even see it.
Yeah.
Almost like it's invisible, but yet it's not. So again, this was a very creepy image. This was one of the last shots of the film, and
Hmm.
it starts to pan out from the window, showing the full house. And as it pans out more, it's a beautiful shot, right? The house looks beautiful, the lights are beautiful. This is how I want my house to look. You can see a cop right down by the doorway, right?
Smoking a cigarette.
Smoking a cigarette, yeah. Hey, light them if you got them, right? And you realize at this point it's been, whatever, a couple minutes since we had last seen Jess, and all of a sudden, before the movie starts rolling the credits, you hear the phone ring. Guys, if that's not unsettling, I don't know what is. Because here's the thing, the phone rang every time that he killed someone, almost as if he had to not confess, but he had to talk, to maybe,
Hmm.
I don't know, release something or whatever. Um, and by the way, well, I'll get to that in a second because, like, I don't want to rant too much, but this is a type of movie where you can talk a lot about the story and little hidden things, but the phone's ringing at the end. It's absolutely crazy. Before I get to you, Michael, let me jump back to the chat. Um, Shantae saying, I'm well happy to be here. How about you? I'm talking about Black Christmas, so I'm very happy. My buddy Michael is here, and it's right before New Year's Eve, so this is awesome, and we're so glad that you guys are here too. Melissa was saying the remake was more of a slasher. Well, I think the remake is it's bloodier. A slasher, Psycho is a slasher, and there's no blood. I mean, the shower scene or whatever. But I think when we think of slashers, people tend to think of, okay, Friday the 13th, or Halloween, a lot of blood and stuff like that. But this is definitely a slasher. There's no doubt about that one bit. But it just doesn't have a lot of gore. But what it did have was a lot of deaths.
Hmm.
It had a lot of deaths, and it was kind of like it sneaks up on you because there were 7 deaths in this film, and of course one that was unconfirmed, which is Jess. I'm just gonna say it, Jess was unconfirmed. So that's 7 deaths in this film. there are, Scream didn't have that many deaths, and as far as I know, Scream is a slasher film. So it just goes to show you how a movie can present, a killer and deaths in a certain way that it almost kind of sneaks up on you. Like, oh wow, yeah, a lot of people got killed in this film. This film has more deaths than Halloween 78. So again, it's all about presentation, but this film definitely takes that tension building route. You know what I mean? So yeah. Let's see, who else do we have in the chat. And thank you, Julie, for putting the link in the chat for the podcast. We really appreciate that. And yeah, we've got some cool stuff. We really, really do. Um, Stormy saying, I think Nash had no choice as Jess was going to go upstairs. Yeah, Nash definitely got nervous. He didn't mean any harm. And I think he was just hoping that by saying that she would just, do do the right thing and leave. But fortunately for her, she was smart enough to get out of there once she saw the killer. So and let's see who else. Who else? Um and I did say hey to Chuck. Good to have you. Solar guy in the house. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Paul is saying the scariest moment was the ending. I think it was so unsettling. It really, really was. No doubt. And Gina, good night to you. Hope that we see you again soon. Thank you so much for all the support. Give Ziggy a hug for us as well. Yeah. And let's see. Kelly is in the house saying hi, had to work, just got here. Yeah, there you go. And Ben, you're right. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is essentially a bloodless film, but it's a psychological assault. There's no doubt about that. A celluloid psychological assault. Yep, I agree with that. Um, so, Michael, once we get to the end of the film here, and we're going to start winding down, but what do you think? Do you think it's over for Jess?
I sit there, and as they pull away, the cops out there and the phone's ringing. I'm like, go answer the phone, dude. If you answer the phone, you'll prevent them from killing anybody else, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And guy just sits out there smoking.
yep,
And it's, for me, I guess that's one of the big things about these horror movies is I'm sitting back. I can see the whole 360-degree, most of the time, picture of what's going on. And
yep,
I'm like trying to coach these people, and they're doing the exact opposite of what you want them to do. And
yeah, yeah,
it's frustrating. So,
yeah,
I guess that's kind of like the director's whole intent is to get you frustrated
yep,
in those situations. And I think he did his job 100% because I was frustrated at the very end. You
yeah,
know, you could see a
yep,
killer. The killer's about to kill somebody else. Everybody's
y-
gone except for one policeman, and the other girl's like trapped, helpless
yeah,
on the bed, about to can't wake up till the next morning.
mm,
So you
yeah.
never know.
Yeah, such a dire situation, no doubt. And Jess is such a great character. Um, but great directors, especially of that time and all throughout the 80s, they loved it when a theater full of people would do those types of things. Like, don't go upstairs, girl, run away, don't do that. I mean, that was that time period where,
Mhm.
where people would go to the theater, and it truly was an experience with others where you could, especially for horror films. And so this definitely tapped into that. But I think that it's so well done. I feel like it's a level above the rest. In the 70s, in the early 70s, you had The Exorcist, you had Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then this film, came out, and I think that it's one of the best. It really, really is. So that's how I feel. You know.
I was thinking when you were saying Claire was sitting in the window at the very end.
Hmm.
There's a couple of shots when she's sitting in the window, and the dude even has a candle burning in the
Yeah.
window
Yep.
next to her, and
Yep.
nobody says anything. That was
Nothing.
that's just so crazy
Yep.
that he would have a candle, and everybody like loves lights and candles, especially during the holidays, and you don't think
Yep.
anybody looked up there and saw that.
Yep. So creepy. It's just so creepy. And by the end of the film, you're just thinking to yourself, she's never going to be found. The police were literally in the house one floor below.
Hmm.
And it's creepy. It's just a creepy thought, when you
Unless the
when you think
lady
about the ending.
starts stinking.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, there you go. I mean, obviously, as this film continues beyond the credits, obviously, uh, Jess gets killed, and one of the other sisters comes back and finds her, and then, but will they think to look up in the attic? Because as far as the police know, And as far as Jess knew, Peter was the killer and she killed
Hmm.
him. Case closed. So, what an ending. I think this ending, and look again, and from my Halloween people, don't come after me. I'm still Halloween all the way. But as great as Halloween's ending is, by showing that Michael was everywhere and now can be anywhere because his body isn't found. I think this hits even harder. I think Black Christmas hits even harder because they had that aesthetic as well. These are the areas that the killer was, and he was never seen. Um, and now you've got these two bodies in the attic, and they may never be found for a long, long, long time, because quote unquote, the killer was dead. So it
Hmm.
just hits hard, man. It really, really
Well,
does.
do you think that the killer would have waited for the police to leave before he would have tried to kill Jess?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because everyone went downstairs.
Uh-huh.
Because remember, Claire's father had fainted, and they're like, "Oh my God, we got to get him to the hospital." So Captain Fuller and the doctor were helping Claire's father downstairs. They had
Hmm.
already checked the other bedrooms and all that type of stuff. They found Barb, they found Phil. So they're like, "Okay, and we got Peter in the basement. He's the killer. The case is closed. Let Jess rest."
Hmm.
Blah 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 blah. And they're going downstairs. I mean, it
Well, they
only
left that
takes.
one police officer there.
Yeah, yeah, and I think maybe it's just because it was the site of
Oh,
homicides, you know what I'm saying? But they
yeah.
have no reason to go back in the attic, in my opinion. Plus, this is 1974, and back then, you know what I'm saying? That's the other thing
Hmm.
about these slasher films from, the 70s and the 80s and even to the mid 90s, like police work and the understanding of a killer, it just wasn't what it is today. It's kind of sad to say in a way for us today. It's like killers are crazy, man.
Hmm.
It's like I feel like checking my attic right now just to make sure I'm safe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think once they went downstairs and went outside, Billy just came on down and did his thing. And yeah, so it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Julie said it's got to be one of my favorite movie endings of all time. You listen, it's definitely a great ending. It is one of those ultimate amazing endings. There's no doubt at all. Ben saying Billy is one of the most terrifying villains in cinematic history because we don't know anything about him or what happened to him after. He can be anywhere, anytime as anyone. Yeah, yeah, it's true. Shantae saying, I'm going to rewatch. It's been years since I watched this movie, but it's on Peacock, so I will watch again to remember. Yeah, absolutely. I think you should. It's, still holiday season. This to me is it's definitely you got to watch this. It's most definitely a watch for every year for me during this time of the year. And also, for you guys, keep your ears open because we got a chance to watch this all together 2 weeks ago, which was so much fun, especially because Michael had never seen it. So for all you guys, and if you're not a channel member, please consider doing so. We did that as an exclusive member watch. You can join the channel, and we do exclusive watch parties and hangouts, quite often. And hopefully we'll be doing one coming up in another week or so. I'm trying to get some details together on that. But if you haven't, you can join us. You hit the join button next to the subscribe button. It also helps the channel, allows us to do what we do, and so forth. And Ben, yeah, man, I'm sorry you missed the watch along too, bro. It was so much fun. It really was, and we've had a blast doing watch parties. At least a couple of times every month for the last several weeks. So, and we have Michael on our Friday the 13th kick. So, I'm just saying, keep your eyes and ears open, guys. But anyways, we got to score this thing. We're going to use our scoring for Slasher Movie Club as we always do. As you guys know, we've got the 4 badges, which means that we think the film is amazing. It's awesome. You should watch it ASAP. We've got the 3 badges, meaning that we think it's pretty good. It's okay. We got the 2 badges, meaning that we don't really like the film. And then, of course, we have the dreaded 1 badge, which means that it is absolutely horrible. aka Don't Go in the Woods Alone, Student Bodies, Blood Cult, and Good Night, God Bless. And those are bad movies, man. So, my Michael, how many badges would you give Black Christmas from 1974?
Seeing as how well it has kept up and how pretty freaked out I got, I'd give it a 4.
Okay, all right. We're going with a 4. Well, for me, and I also want to say I'm going to speak for Coriander as well. She couldn't be here tonight. She loves this film. She really does. And for me, this is such an underrated gem, guys. It really, really is. And I know, and we were talking about it earlier, there's not a lot of blood, there's not a lot of gore. But you got 8 deaths in this film. And I don't know about you, Michael. I'm not great at math, but 8 is a lot. It's more than Scream 96 and it's more than Halloween 78. So you go figure. I'm going with 4 badges, man. There's no doubt about it in my mind. It's a great film. It's a great story, a great cast. It's just so well done from A to Z, and it is truly a blueprint um, for Halloween '78, which in my opinion is one of the greatest slashes of all time. And the bridges are there, the parallels are there. So okay, and Ben, he's going with 5 badges. You guys tell me what you think. We've got 4 badges from Julie. And Julie, thank you so much. She's got the link in. If you'd like to become a channel member, that is the way they do it. You just click the link and you can join us, and we do a lot of really cool stuff. Shantae saying, I've seen it maybe twice with my aunt, but maybe I wasn't paying much attention. She took me all the horror movies. Rest in peace, Aunt Laura. Rest in peace. And that is very cool that you had that relationship with her. You know what I mean? And she had good taste. This was a great film. It really, really was. I'm telling you. Alrighty, guys. Well, this was a lot of fun. Michael, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I know we were trying our best to schedule this around the holidays, which is always tricky, but we appreciate you as always, man. Seriously.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all the time, man, all the time. And by the way, just to plug for Michael on his channel, the Carbonite Jedi, uh, a dear friend who's become kind of a dear friend will be visiting him this Friday, and it's going to be, is it at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern?
It's 1 o'clock your time. It's 11 o'clock my time, Mountain Standard
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to plug it?
sure. So
Okay.
I'm having Catherine Mary Stewart on my show. She was the girlfriend to Alex Rogan on The Last Starfighter. She was also the main heroine in Night of the Comet, and she's been in multiple other TV shows, movies, and was even a voice actress on Red Dead Redemption 2. I think
Mhm.
Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm super excited because she was my crush when I was young and I saw The Last Starfighter. I was like, man,
Yeah, yeah, man.
Alex Rogan, I hate you.
Right, we all hate her.
So come see me. I think it's going to be a great interview. I can't wait. And
Yeah,
she's very a very elegant lady. I can say that
she
because I've
she
watched
is.
her on Knight's channel do a couple of interviews. So always
Yeah.
gracious, and that's awesome and very rare these days.
True, true. Yeah, she's a real one, and so kind and so humble. And I still can't even believe I had the opportunity and the honor to speak with her twice. And even watching Night of the Comet, we did. Oh, she watched the movie with me. Dude, I can't tell you how much I was geeking out on the inside. And she's just so cool, and she's funny. She's so funny too. So congrats to you, brother. And I know you guys are going to have a fantastic conversation. And yeah, and Ben said, I just subscribed. There you go, buddy. There
Thank
you
you.
go. You know what's up. Ben's awesome. And yeah, check out this amazing interview that'll be this Friday at 1. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be there, because it's just, yeah, this will be really cool. But anyways, for the rest of you guys, thank you so much. We appreciate all the support and all the love, and we hope that you have a great evening. And we will catch you next time. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.